welcome to the Handy Women YouTube channel. I am your host, Geraldine Anello. Very excited today. I'm going to be talking with Jessica, who's going to show us about how she went about doing her lime washing in her home. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
How is it going?
It's good. It's good. It's a little cool out here. It's Chicago winter, so we're about 30 degrees, which is pretty warm here for us. So
A warm winter day in Chicago. So tell me about this lime washing project. How did it start? How long did it take? What were the steps?
Sure. So we purchased this house about 3 years ago, and the brick was sort of 1960s yellow brick, and then you could see back it had this sort of stone facade. So I'm a graphic designer by trade, and I'm very particular with color, aesthetics, and I thought what would be, I did like the natural stone and I liked the brick, but I just wanted everything to sort of mesh and be aesthetically one. So I knew I wanted to do something, and I looked at the various options. Painting, you can always paint the brick, but it looks very flat. And also then you have to worry about bubbling. There's a lot of new stuff, but you have to worry about the integrity of the brick, and water getting underneath. So I chose lime washing. It's a very, very old technique. It's been done since, I don't know, the Middle Ages. You've seen them, the sort of lime washed white houses, but they offer a lot more tones now, natural tones. And I looked into it, and it seemed pretty forgiving, because actually you could lime wash it and power wash the color off if you absolutely hated it.
So for the people who don't know about lime washing, what makes lime washing lime washing?
It actually has lime in it. So that mineral is also it's, now I'm not a chemist here, or so I don't really know, but it adheres directly to the brick and still lets the brick breathe. So it's a very old school, very non-toxic technique that's been done for hundreds of years. So I liked something that was not going to be, very chemically, it was more environmentally friendly. It's not something that you have to worry about if you get somewhere or the kids get into it or the dog, etc. So I liked going with that option because I knew I wanted to keep a natural tone to the house.
I love it. So how does one go about doing it? Did you peel off the paint first?
So I will flip around and show you the house a little bit and talk about so lime washing is pretty straightforward. What you have to do is you start with a wet surface and you wet down the brick, and then you can either spray or brush on the lime wash. Now, I sprayed because it was way faster. So I got a paint sprayer at Home Depot. It was about $600. And then I sent you the brand. It's Roma Bio, is I got the lime washing from. And really, you just take a paint. You take the whole, oh, can you still see me?
No, no longer. There you are.
Sorry about that. Press the wrong button. But you take the hose and you hose down the brick, and then you have to spray it pretty quickly before the brick dries. And I taped off all this stone because I didn't want that to be sort of the uniform color. And I taped off all the windows. And
what's the time frame you have before it gets dry? How quickly are we talking about here?
Yeah, you can only do like a 4x6 section at a time. You really need to hose it and paint it within, probably a couple minutes, depending on how hot it is outside. So I did this in the summer. Like if you did it in the spring or the fall, you probably have a little more time, because what you don't want is the brick to dry, and you want the paint to take in. It takes in more evenly if the brick is wet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. What happens if you don't make it in time? Can you start over, or is it now kind of ruined?
Well, you could always take a power washer and fix it. But the thought is that you probably want a pretty even coat. So you probably just make sure you put, if you have a big blotch, you put a second coat on. We did have to do 2 coats actually around the whole house, just to get that uniform color. So, and we did do the back as well. I would just say if you do the primer maybe look into whether you use a different thing than a paint sprayer. Maybe you roll it on, although that's so time consuming.
That's great. It's time consuming, but it's worth it because.
Oh, it's great. I mean, if you use a sprayer, it's not time consuming. I got all this done in 3 days. I got the whole house done in
The
3 days.
whole house?
Well, I had to it did take me probably a day to tape up. And then it goes pretty quickly. You wet down the brick and you spray it, and then you move on to the next section. So if you use a sprayer, it's a lot quicker. I think with a brush, it would have taken me easily a week. I probably would have gotten a little more heavy coverage, but I think I got like 90%, and I think it looks pretty good. So I think the sprayer is the way to go.
So you mentioned the taping. How hard is taping?
Well, I definitely agree that use the frog tape. It's better than painter's tape. I mean, it's not hard. It's just time consuming, right?
What's your process? Do you do like a big chunk at once? Do you do small chunks to make sure it's very neat?
Probably a little bit of both, like you think, okay, I'm going to start here and see how it goes. I tried to be meticulous because I really wanted this to, look like a professional job. I'm pretty happy with it. So
it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it would have cost quite a bit of money to have a professional do it. So, I was pretty happy. And then just I also then I sealed the stone. And in some parts I lime washed the stone if it was looking pretty, ugly, or you can maybe see a little bit on here that some of these have a more yellow tone. So I kind of color touched up some of the stone before I sealed it.
But you didn't do it to all the stones? You just picked and chose individual stones?
Yeah, because I think it looks better when there's a variety. I could show you in the back where I actually lime washed. The back was my test area. So you could see there's variation, but I think that's okay. That's kind of gives it a more natural look.
Yeah, no, it looks so good. I love that you had a test area too. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, so I had a couple different spots. This little shed had spots too where I could practice. I got a lot of practice and made all my decisions and stuff. And then,
For the spray, did you buy it or did you rent it?
I actually bought it because I knew I would need, I think it's something like, I forget, but it was cost prohibitive. I was going to spend something like a couple $100 just to rent it. And so I bought it for $600 instead of maybe it would have cost me $300 to rent, and lug back and forth. And I think it was a good investment, because you could also resell that,
Oh, that's great. I love it. Thank you so much for showing me. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Here, I'll put it back.
Yay.
So yeah, I encourage everybody to give it a try. It's a really nice natural finish. It's very easy to work with. It's, forgiving. So, I know
what's not to love.
I know. And I put it on the board for several on the Facebook group for several people, try this out. It's a great brand.
That's awesome. Yeah, and eco-friendly is so important these days. So anything we can do like that is yes, and then it looks good. It's fast to do. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then the result, like you said, looks super professional.
Well, and it's good for fireplaces inside too. It doesn't have to just be outside.
I love it. Well, congratulations. Thanks for showing me.
Thank you.
Bye, Jessica.
Bye.